The aftermath of the $1 million revelation. The guest, whose name was later revealed to be Margaret Ellsworth, stood frozen in disbelief as the weight of Chris Kennedy's appraisal settled over her. The small, delicate mobile, crafted by one of America's most celebrated sculptors, had been a cherished family heirloom, passed down from her beloved aunt. But now it was something else entirely, a potential fortune. As the cameras continued rolling, Margaret wiped away tears, her hands trembling. "I just can't believe it," she murmured, shaking her head. "All these years it was just hanging in my living room." Kennedy, sensing her overwhelmed state, offered a reassuring smile. "It's not just the monetary value that makes this special," he said. "This is a piece of art history. Calder didn't just give these away to anyone. Your aunt must have made quite an impression on him." Margaret nodded, recalling the stories her aunt had told her about that fateful cocktail party in 1958. Her aunt, a talented textile artist, had been an admirer of Calder's work for years. When she learned he would be attending the same gathering, she seized the opportunity to show him her handmade pillow, embroidered with a striking abstract design inspired by one of his mobiles. "She always said he was so humble," Margaret remembered. "He could have just nodded politely and moved on, but he was genuinely moved by her work." And then, out of the blue, this arrived at her doorstep. A legacy of art and generosity. The story of how the Calder mobile came into Margaret's possession was as extraordinary as its valuation. After her aunt's passing in the early 1990s, the piece was bequeathed to her, along with a collection of other art and personal mementos. At the time, Margaret had no idea of its true worth, only that it held sentimental value as a reminder of her aunt's creativity and kindness. "I never even considered selling it," she admitted to Kennedy. "It was part of the family. But now, I don't know what to think." The expert nodded understandingly. "That's the thing about pieces like this," he said. "They carry stories, and sometimes those stories become part of their value." Kennedy went on to explain that Calder's mobiles, especially those from the mid-20th century, had seen a surge in demand among collectors. The artist's playful yet precise balance of form and movement had cemented his reputation as a pioneer of kinetic art. Smaller, intimate pieces like this one, originally intended as personal gifts, were now considered rare treasures. The dilemma: keep or sell. As the episode aired, viewers were left wondering, what would Margaret do next? In the weeks following the appraisal, she was inundated with calls from auction houses, private collectors, and even museums, all eager to acquire the Calder mobile. Some offers surpassed Kennedy's initial estimate, reaching as high as $1.2 million. But for Margaret, the decision wasn't purely financial. "It's not just about the money," she confessed in a follow-up interview. "This mobile represents a moment in time, a connection between my aunt and one of the greatest artists of the 20th century. How do you put a price on that?" She consulted with art advisors, family members, and even a curator from the Whitney Museum of American Art, where several of Calder's works were displayed. The consensus? The piece was undeniably valuable, both culturally and monetarily. A surprising turn of events. Just as Margaret was leaning towards selling the mobile, perhaps donating a portion of the proceeds to an arts education charity, an unexpected twist emerged. An historian specializing in Calder's work reached out with a fascinating discovery, a letter written by the artist in 1958, mentioning the very mobile he had gifted to Margaret's aunt. In it, Calder described his admiration for her needlework and his hope that the mobile would bring her as much joy as her pillow had brought him. "This changes everything," Margaret said upon reading the letter. "It's not just an artwork anymore, it's a documented piece of his life, his generosity." With this new revelation, the mobile's historical significance skyrocketed. Auction experts revised their estimates, suggesting it could now fetch upwards of $1.5 million at a prestigious sale. The final decision. After months of deliberation, Margaret made her choice. Rather than selling the mobile privately, she decided to place it in a high-profile auction, with one condition: the winning bidder would have to agree to loan it to museums for public display periodically. "I want people to see it," she explained, "to appreciate it the way my aunt did, and if it can inspire someone else the way Calder's work inspired her, then that's worth more than any dollar amount.